I think the level in Japanese boxing is going up.
Yep.
And I think we are getting the respect that we deserve.
Did you know that Naoya Inoue, the monster who demolishes everyone in his path, once found himself on the verge of disaster?
Donald to the rope, right and left, and that is it. History is made in Tokyo, Japan.
It was a night that nearly changed everything. A fight that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Iconic venue, their voices blending into a thunderous roar as they anticipated the main event of the evening. This wasn't just another fight. It was a battle for ultimate supremacy. On one side stood Naoya Inoue, the reigning champion and Japanese superstar, a fighter feared across multiple weight divisions. On the other, the relentless and dangerous Luis Neri, a Mexican warrior with a mission to dethrone the king. At stake, the WBC, WBO, IBF, and WBA world titles. The entire boxing world had its eyes on this match, knowing it would be one for the history books. Inoue was the overwhelming favorite. He had dominated every weight class he entered, leaving behind a trail of battered and broken opponents. His most recent fight had seen him completely dismantle Marlon Tapales in 10 brutal rounds, his punches carving up his opponent's face until he looked unrecognizable. The knockout had been less of a final blow and more of an act of mercy. With such an awe-inspiring record, Inoue stepped into the ring, ready to give his home fans another spectacular show. But what happened next was something no one saw coming. As the bell rang to start the fight, the Japanese crowd settled into their seats, expecting to see their champion dominate as he always did. But Luis Neri had no intention of playing the role of another victim. From the opening seconds, he came forward aggressively, launching powerful shots at Inoue, who was momentarily caught off guard. Then, in an instant, the impossible happened. A thunderous left hand from Neri crashed into Inoue's jaw, sending the champion tumbling to the canvas. The Tokyo Dome fell into a stunned silence. Fans sat frozen in their seats, unable to comprehend what had just occurred. For the first time in years, Inoue was down. Was this the moment the monster finally met his match? The referee started the count. Inoue shook his head, blinked a few times, and got to his feet. He had been caught, but he wasn't done. He looked more focused than ever. The round continued, but the damage had been done. The world had just witnessed the most shocking moment of Naoya Inoue's career. Meanwhile, Luis Neri stood in his corner, his eyes filled with fire. He wasn't just here to fight, he was here to win. In his mind, this was his moment. The night he would finally cement his place in boxing history by taking down the seemingly invincible Inoue. He had studied his opponent meticulously, knowing that timing and precision were the keys to success. And in that moment, he believed he had found the answer. With the shock of the first round still lingering, Inoue knew he had to respond, and he did so in devastating fashion. As the second round began, he adjusted his strategy, tightening his defense while looking for opportunities to counter. He wasn't just going to survive, he was going to re-establish his dominance. Midway through the round, he saw his chance. Neri overcommitted on a right hand, leaving an opening. Inoue pounced. A vicious right hook exploded against Neri's chin, and this time, it was the Mexican warrior who found himself crashing to the mat. The crowd erupted. Inoue had returned the favor, and the fight was now a war. Neri gasped for air as he tried to regain his footing. His vision blurred momentarily, but he forced himself up before the referee could finish the count. He knew he couldn't let this opportunity slip away. With a deep breath, he prepared for what was sure to be the toughest battle of his career. Like a predator toying with its prey, Inoue began systematically dismantling Neri. His speed, precision, and devastating power became too much for the challenger. Every punch was calculated, every combination was designed to wear down his opponent. Neri, to his credit, fought back with all the heart of a warrior, but Inoue was simply on another level. The Japanese champion pressed forward, cutting off the ring, punishing the Mexican with body shots that made him wince in pain. Neri's aggression had turned into survival mode. By the end of the fourth round, Neri looked exhausted. His face bore the marks of war, swelling, cuts, bruises. Inoue, on the other hand, was just getting started. Sensing his opponent was on the brink, Inoue shifted into an even higher gear in round 5. He began unloading furious combinations, his fists moving with blinding speed. Then, with a brutal uppercut followed by a perfectly placed left hook, he sent Neri crashing down again. Somehow, against all odds, Neri beat the count, but it was clear He was barely holding on. His legs wobbled as he walked back to his corner, his face a mask of pain, and somehow, against all odds, Neri beat the count. But it was clear, he was barely holding on. His legs wobbled as he walked back to his corner, his face a mask of pain and exhaustion. If Neri had any hope left, it was extinguished in round 6. Inoue came out with the determination of a champion who had something to prove. He feinted, drawing Neri into making a mistake, and then unleashed one of the most monstrous punches of his career, a right hand that detonated on Neri's chin. Time seemed to stand still for a moment. Then Neri collapsed. The referee didn't even bother with a count. He waved it off immediately. The fight was over. The Tokyo Dome erupted in celebration. NAOYA INOUE had not only won, but he had reaffirmed his status as the most feared boxer in the world. Yet despite the dominant victory, this fight had proven one thing: he was human after all. As Inoue stood in the ring, soaking in the glory of his victory, a sudden commotion broke out in the crowd. A figure emerged from the front rows, stepping up to the edge of the ring. It was another undefeated fighter, an up-and-coming powerhouse from the United States, known for his incredible knockout power and unshakable confidence. With a microphone in hand, he issued a bold challenge. "You've dominated for too long, Inoue, but your toughest fight is yet to come. Face me, and we'll see who the real monster is." The crowd gasped. Inoue, never one to back down, simply nodded. A new war was on the horizon, and the boxing world braced itself for another epic showdown. Who will win this ultimate clash of titans? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: NAOYA INOUE's journey is far from over.